Hmm. All right. Ah, well,
Hey,
glad to be
everybody.
landing again. Hmm.
Shall we just
Hmm.
start by taking a deep breath?
That's a good idea.
Just present, calling all your bits and pieces in, all your parts, all your bits of soul out there floating around, and release anything that doesn't serve. And we'll probably do like a little more of a formal meditative drop in here in a minute, but just noticing what one breath can do. Sometimes that is all the difference between a reaction and a response, between presence and being in some other story, between freak out and being grounded and being in your power and sovereignty. So, welcome. We begin with the breath. We are Unbecoming Karen. This is an experiment of three white women healers who are noticing what shows up in our own journey to healing our unresolved, internalized, colonialized white supremacist programming and bringing that out into the world. And we are going to have this call be a little shorter than usual. In the past, we've gone to about an hour. And today we'll aim for maybe like 35 minutes from now, we'll be wrapping up. Um, in some of our longer calls, we do have like a more formal list of who we are, what we're doing, what to expect here, but really the primary um, directive that we have for you is to listen to your body throughout this conversation. So notice if you feel triggered, notice if your body needs a breath. Notice if you need to sit down or go outside or pause the recording. Um, Notice an alarm's going off here. That was my alarm to remind me to love myself. Notice if you need like a little self-love throughout this time and what that feels like to just take a moment and be like, oh, I am here in a body and I am doing so much. I am doing so much. And I can take a moment to just love myself and honor myself for being here and taking on this task. So we invite you to
Hmm.
come along. If you are watching on YouTube in real time, we invite you to put comments in there. If you are watching after the fact, we invite you to put comments in there. We would love to engage with you. We would love to hear what comes up for you as we dive into this topic today or as you watch any of our other videos. Um, we are here for the engagement. We are here for the evolution. We are here for all of it. Right now, we are feeling particularly aware of the acceleration of what's happening on the planet and energetically right now. And it looks like all of this craziness with the new war and what's happening in Senate and Congress and in our communities and in our homes. And I think I could probably speak for all of us that like we're also aware of the ascension that is happening in the same timing where we are being prompted to look at what's really happening and using what's showing up as a mirror for what is here for us to heal and choose differently as we move into a new potential reality that does not include a root of hatred, separation, fear,
Mhm.
and that lets us operate from our true nature, which is beings of love, beings of oneness with each other, with the divine, and honoring that right now this transition is really important and it feels really hard a lot of time. It feels really heavy and really scary. So we're here to walk through it together.
Hmm.
Ah,
Hmm. Yeah. And I want a presence too, right? Like one of the reasons that we keep coming back to the body, the felt sense of our reality, this embodied experience, is because part of how we, um, address the internalized white supremacy, this kind of programming of domination, extraction, exploitation, abuse, harm, right? is by first saying, I'm no longer going to harm myself by overriding what my body does to keep doing this thing I'm supposed to do, this thing society tells me I should do, this thing society tells me I should be able to do effortlessly, right? Coming back to our body is going to be how we are able to feel in to this is wrong. I can't allow this to keep happening, right? Or this is what I need to be doing. I'm feeling so called to do this thing. Let me go and do this thing, right? And so again, right, like colonialism and like white supremacy is obsessed with like the brain, thinking, logic, making it make sense, right? And so much of what's coming forth within like wellness movements, healing movements, like liberatory wellness practices is this return to the body, right? This return to the technology of our physical body in order to help us tune into what is right, what is wrong, because we can feel when something's wrong. But most of us have either overrided because there's so much wrong in our society that it's hard to survive, like tapped into that. Or we're just so kind of like distracted that we don't even feel what's happening. We just see it and we're like, oh, another war. Oh, another that. Oh, another person. Oh, and there's no felt sense of it. Because I believe if we were connected in with our feeling, like all of this would be like bringing us to our knees. We wouldn't be able to go business as usual. We wouldn't just be like, oh, I guess I'll just like go to Home Goods and get some more like pillows. It's like there might be more I don't know. I don't know what the more is. More like inability to keep going as it is.
Yeah, it's
Um
like no longer overriding things, right? Because like, and I find like the being connected into the body and dropping into the body and all of those practices that we use so much, it's like one of the primary characteristics of that is slowing down, right? And so much of programming, domination, all of that stuff keeps us all sped the fuck up, right? And out of our minds, in our mind, out of our bodies, and keeps us out of the game, therefore. And the other thing about the body that when you were talking, Kristen, was like, the other thing that's so important about the body is like, that's where the unified field of the oneness of all of everything resides. And our direct experience of that resides in the body, right? So that's another reason domination consciousness, oppression consciousness wants to keep us out of the body. Because
Mm,
if we all were really connected to our bodies and
mm,
thus our emotions, um, like you said, it brings you to your knees. And that's why a lot of people don't want to do it.
mm,
We're all programmed to stay out of it. And we've been deceived into thinking that's necessary in order to
mm,
function and survive. Because who wants to feel this? Who wants to, I mean, we do. The truth is, we do want to feel it because we know it's there, it's real, it's true, it's what's happening. And not feeling it is what allows it to continue.
mm,
So we're all about developing capacity and skills to feel it, but not only it, to feel what's underneath it, which is our true nature, which is love and humanity and connection and community, right? So the only way to get there is through the body, and so you
mm,
encounter all the feels, and we need all the feels because that's where our humanity is. It's the cutting off from the feels that is where all the inhumanity comes in. Like when I watch frickin' Pam Bondi for one, doing her Bondi thing, right? I just look at her, I'm like, I just see a shell of a human. Like, where is she? I mean, her face, it's painful to watch because of the absence of soul,
mm.
of humanness, of humanity, right? Like, I mean, and there's so many examples I can give of that. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree, Babs. I feel that way
Mhm.
sometimes when I'll see interviews with some of the like tech CEO AI
Oh,
CEOs. Like there's one of them, I had like a screenshot of an interview and like literally the interview person, like this is like the guy who like is ChatGPT or one of them. The interviewer asked him, "Why should we trust you?" And he was just like, "You shouldn't. You shouldn't." You know what I mean? And it's like these are the people that we're giving the keys of the kingdom to? Like
I know.
no. No, and you want to know what else is really coming alive in me right now? And this is kind of a tangent, but I feel like I have to say it and that you'll both appreciate it, right? Is like part also of me for coming back into the body and reconnecting with myself, reconnecting with like true femininity, right? Not this like distorted, meek, like submissive, dominated femininity that has been upheld by these systems of harm, but like true, like divine femininity, right? The mother,
Mm,
right? The mother, protector of life, protector of the innocent. Like it feels like there's this moment that like Kali Ma is like you know what I mean? Like wanting us to rise up and say, no more. You don't get to lead us anymore. No more. Nope. Your way's not gonna work. Like all of this, because again, like that's part of how the systems like initially colonized us as white women, right? Was to make us subservient, to make us meek, to take away our power, right? Because like back in the day, like women held powerful positions. Women were listened to. Women were white. They were like the wise women, the prophets, right? Like, and so like that was part of how we were colonized was to believe that like to be woman means to submit, right? To be woman means to be quiet. And it's like for me, part of this whole quaking, reclamation, coming back into our body is as women reclaiming our voice, reclaiming like our like sovereign duty to protect life, all life, period. And like, and sometimes that looks like having to like behead the monster. Sometimes that looks like having to chop down the poison vine. You know what I mean? It's like there's anyway, I'm just like I can like feel that like that mother
yeah.
energy is like she is like we need you fierce, we need you connected with that true warrior mother spirit.
Yeah.
I keep being so present to the fact that we would not, these atrocities have been happening for centuries, for thousands of years. And were it not so horrific, we would all still be going to Home Goods and buying pillows, right? And we have to have those moments too. And maybe it needs to be titrated, it needs to be balanced. We need to really tune in, like really listen to what our bodies are asking for,
Mhm.
because we cannot be in warrior mode 24/7. We are in
I
human
agree.
bodies, and that's not sustainable. And we thankfully have energies like Kali who are here and not in bodies, and they can actually help support. But so that we, as humans, as the like boots on the ground, can do it in waves. Um,
Mhm.
but but we are needing this awakening as I was going to say society, but like all of the beings. Part of the indoctrination, part of the control comes with having us just be so comfortable or afraid of discomfort that we are unwilling to move in order to stand up for one another. And so um, while it's incredibly uncomfortable, what if all of this is happening in service to this not happening anymore? um, and we keep making it wrong because it is terrifying, it is horrific, it is unconscionable, and it feels like the pendulum has swung so far that right now we need that reckoning that allows us to see what has always been happening, but now we can actually see it, and so therefore we can stand for something different.
Yeah. And what I think of is like for me, may sound strange, but what I'm realizing, there is part of me that feels relief.
Mm,
And not that I'm happy about any of it. When I see Beirut being bombed to the ground, the apartment buildings, when I see all the things happening, I'm not like, oh, yay, that's going to lead to healing. It's like,
Right.
no, it's like, fuck, that's not okay. And um, there's a relief for me, like in my own personal healing of my abuse background history, right? As horrific as it was to recover the memories of what happened to me when I was a kid, there's also great relief in it because it's like it's the truth. It's
Mhm.
there. It happened, and so there is the part of our nervous system that cannot tolerate untruth,
Yeah.
right? And so
Mhm.
when something gets revealed, as hard as it is to see, there's the possibility of healing. There's a possibility of something that's not there as long as it's being denied. So I think that's what we're seeing is this massive collective reckoning of seeing all the things all at
Mhm.
once. And not all at once, because we've seen it all along, but somehow it's like the Klieg lights are shining on it, all of it, right? Really, really strongly. And I read a thing, what's coming really alive for me as we're talking is like I read I forget the woman who wrote this, but it was in answer to the question. Somebody had posted a question of like, how can, in light of the Epstein files, right? How can some of the quote good men, and one of the names she raised was Gabor Mate, who I think of as like a real icon in the trauma healing world, right? A real kind of gentle soul from what I know of him. I haven't studied with him a lot, but apparently he has been doing some gaslighting around the Epstein files. And like, why do we keep talking about I'm paraphrasing, but as if the women that survived that, or the now women that were girls that survived that, are overblowing things, or there's all the mechanisms that are in place that a lot of men are using to try to minimize, dismiss, put it in away, don't deal with it, right? And so she's like, how can they be doing this? How can these guys that are supposedly healers, the good guys, be doing that, gaslighting and all of that? And the answer that this woman wrote that I've been sitting with since I read it was two reasons. And I'm again paraphrasing, and I'll try to find the woman who wrote this and put her name somewhere, and so we can give credit for this amazing letter or post that she wrote. It was like two things. One is apparently there's a hashtag all men that I have not seen, but she was saying like the truth is that probably a lot of men in their lived experience have either perpetrated things on women because that's what our culture is so steeped in. Maybe they were drunk, maybe they, whatever. And because of the way our culture is, it just got like, okay, that happened, swept under the rug. And then their life has just continued on, but they've carried that with them. So they're therefore protecting themselves from having to reckon with the reality of their own behavior in that moment. Or they've been in the room where they've witnessed it and haven't done anything. They've allowed it to go on, they've left and not helped, they've, whatever. So they carry that, right? So that's one, the first reason. And the second is she said, in patriarchy, in kind of culture that we have largely globally, it's like the men's role supposedly is the provider and the protector, right? So if men as a whole, as a collective, were really to reckon with the reality of what women have experienced at the hands of men for so long and so prevalently, they would also have to claim and realize that they have failed at that job of being the protector.
Mm.
And so when I read that, I was like, holy crap, that is a huge ask of, quote, of men to be able to sit with those things, to be able to look at those things, especially in cultures, society, collective that has stripped men of their emotions, right? Their emotional lives, like man up, don't feel that, real men don't cry, whatever. All of the things that have taken emotional intelligence and emotional capacity away from men and limited it to this is allowed, right? So now to what it's done for me is just drop me into so much compassion, and it's a total parallel to like my journey with reconciling my own life story as far as racial awareness goes. Hard to do, really hard to do, right? To go, oh my God, like, wow, that I have done. I mean, I dressed in blackface when I was in college at a Halloween party. I thought it was funny. The fat black maid, right? Like that was a costume that I put on my body when I was in college. And so I don't know, it just it really brought me to like this is a really tall order that we're asking of. And we know that it's possible. We know what the tools are, right? That are needed. It's like you need a safe enough space in order to be able to reveal those things to yourself and hold it without going into a defense mechanism, which for a lot of men, the defense mechanism is violence, aggression, attack, assault, anything to protect themselves from having to look at any of those things. So that's been very alive for me this week. And then as we're talking, like, how do we be collectively a space that reckons with this stuff, that calls it out, that doesn't allow it anymore, that changes it, that's like, no, that is, I mean, the stuff coming out, haven't read much about it, but about Cesar Chavez and, like there's just so much. So how do
So
we be a space that calls that all out? Like that's enough, but also does it in a way that people, white people, men, can actually do the work that's necessary in order for all that to happen.
yeah, it's really making me think of that song I've shared with you guys about like people are good, oppression is
People
bad.
are good. Yeah.
Yeah, because like that's like the inherent problem here, right? Is that like
Mhm.
we are all oppressed by the system. We are all harmed by the system, right? And the system keeps itself alive by pinning us against each other and saying, you're to blame. It's your fault. If it wasn't for you, none of this would be. But it's the system, it's not them, right? And
Right.
so, like, this is something I think is really hard for white women. I've had a couple conversations with some of my like my sister and other friends, and like the like holding space for the not all men or the being like all men and still it's still like on us to not cancel them. No throwaway people means no throwaway people.
Yeah.
We're all God means we are all God, right? Like we're all one means we're all one, right? And so it's like as white women, right? Like I believe it is our responsibility to work with white men because who else are then is going to have to do the emotional labor for white men? Brown women, black men, brown men, you know what I mean? It's like at some point like we have to like I don't want to say like take responsibility for our men, but like we kind of got to like call our people in and find ways to not just be like you're a piece of shit, you're canceled. Bye. Right? Because like I
Yeah.
know a lot of women who do that. But
Yeah.
and then I think of like my partner whom I love, or like so many tender-hearted, nerdy men that I have been friends with my whole life, right? And like, you know how much it harms them as kids to be told that they can't feel? Do you know how much it
Mhm.
harms them as kids to like be made fun of, right, like all, like all of the things that men deal with that they never talk about, that they never share, that they all endure on their own, that they're all like, that sucks that we have to, you know what I mean? Like they kind
Yeah.
of do have to clean that shit up themselves. And at the same time, like if we as white women can't be compassionate for for how this system has totally fucked them, right? For
Mhm.
how this system has totally betrayed them, right? Like
Yeah.
then like who's gonna do that for them? Like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I know like we don't all have the capacity to be trauma informed for all the men, and I get it, right? But
Mhm.
for those of us who do have the capacity, right? It's like at some point we have to grapple with people do bad things, and what if we still love them? What if we still want to be in relationship with them, right? Like I deal with this all the time working in intimate partner violence, right? Like working within domestic violence, right? It's like that is a really challenging thing for white culture, for this
Yeah.
culture, American culture to do, right? Like we're very black and white. You're good or you're bad. And once you're bad, you're bad.
Yep.
But like I don't know what the path back is, like because
Mhm.
because the last thing I'll say again, right? Because again, like I do a lot of education around like exploitation and keeping kids safe and right? And like they are seeped in this, right? Like they are the water and the tea bag is our violent culture. So
Yeah.
like when they become like tea, is it their fault
Mhm.
or did they just absorb the environment that they were put in? You know what I mean? It's like, and again, right? Like we have to hold people responsible. This is nuance. It's hard. That's why this is hard. But like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh, did you have anything else to say after
no,
that?
no,
Or like,
no.
yeah, no, but like audible sigh.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
So what's showing up over here is yes to all of that. Um, and like who among us is entirely innocent as well? Like we are perpetrators in this too. And we have allowed a lot of this. We have witnessed and we have not known what to do. So we have done nothing. And that's what
Yeah.
we're here to do, right? Provide this space for us to, with as much grace as humanly and spiritually possible, unpack those things for ourselves, understanding that we are also the tea, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like, how do we, it's like getting that clean drip of water, like one drip at a time, one drip at a
Mhm.
time, it flushes out the stuff that we took in.
Right.
And pretty soon, before long, there is this refreshed vessel, right?
Mhm.
That can see more clearly, hold more. And if I'm gonna like zoom us really far out, I I very much believe in soul contracts. I believe that there are people who come here to be gurus and lead. I believe equally there are people who come here to play that villain role and illuminate what is happening. Because if not, we're just going to keep like bumping into each other and hurting each other, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not to excuse, not to say that harm is okay, but saying like it is this collective issue.
Mhm.
And when we continue to other people, then we continue to create that separation rather than being like, holy shit, now we can actually see how broken this is and how harmful it is. What are we going to do about it? And to get up in arms and stand for something different rather than allowing the harm to continue. And yes, it is like taking away the keys from the people who continue to do that until they can do their work or they like die and then hopefully reincarnate and have another life and another crack and like not
Mhm.
being a complete asshole, right?
Yeah.
um so how do we, I think one of the things we really wanted to talk about today was how do we get through this time that feels so freaking intense? I mean, whether or not any of what I just said has like a modicum of truth or not, like how do we, as those who are waking up, support ourselves as we are walking this path right now that is just incredibly hard and heavy and grueling and long? And um, how do we resource ourselves to be able to sustain what we are being tasked with in this lifetime?
Yeah. And I think a really big part of that is having spaces like this and having communities, right, that are doing the work so that we can like stay anchored in the bigger picture while being grounded in the actions that need to happen. Because I hear what you're saying, Clarissa, like, and I feel my body kind of get a little heave at the thing of like we're all perpetrators. Like I hear what you're saying. We all, what is that in the Bible? Like let he who is without, what is it? Cast the
Without
first
sin,
stone.
yeah.
Without
Be the
sin,
first
cast
to
the
sin.
first stone. And there's levels of that, right? And there's like we're not all equal perpetrators, let's just say. Right. So we've all got our stuff to reckon with for sure. Absolutely. But for me, it's like it's such an individual and unique path for each of us, right? Based on our own lived stories, lived experiences, as far as what the tasks are for us to do. And I know for me, it's like, and that's why I just am so, I cherish this, the collaboration with the three of us and the fact that we're doing these live streams, because part of it for me is speaking the fuck up. And that's part of what has been missing, right? I mean, a lot of all of these things go on because we've been taught in many different ways how not to speak up, that it's dangerous to speak up. And this is for everybody. I mean, this is for, like white people have learned it's not safe to speak up about racial stuff because they'll get killed. Or some men, like you were talking to, Kristen, young men that like, if they tried to speak up, if they were in the room when stuff was happening and they tried to say something, they would might get in trouble, beat up, whatever, right? Um, so so it's like step number one is finding a way to speak up that's constructive, that's generative, right? Maybe in a moment, it's not safe for you to speak up. Maybe in that moment, the best you can do is like, oh my God, this is happening. Is there something I can do here? And if not, I don't know. It's like it's complex, it's nuanced, right? And to think that in a moment you can be the savior and stop the thing from happening, especially if you're like a teenage boy. I mean, I don't know. That's a tall order, right? But you can speak up later. You can do so, you know what I mean? So speaking up, and also developing the skills and the capacities, right? To feel the feels, to have the communities, to get supported, um, and to stay anchored to, all right, this is about recovering humanity, recovering relationships. It's about noticing when I do slip into othering, when I slip into judging, when I slip into they're the bad, they're the right. That's the same mentality, the same consciousness. So finding a way to stay out of that drama triangle consciousness while navigating this, right? Like that's a vital part too. And like that's what we're all about here, right? But it's a meandering path for sure.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say too, like what I want to add to that is I think the other thing is like giving ourselves permission to experience the good things in life. Giving
Yeah.
ourselves permission, right? Like I was kind of
Yeah.
like throwing shade at like going to Home Goods and buying the pillow, but if that pillow is going to brighten your day and every time you come into that room, you see that pillow and you feel good and you cuddle on it and you feel better, then get yourself that dang pillow. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like anything that we can do to feel good, to feel hope, to feel pleasure, you know what I mean? Like I think that is like part of this titration, right? Of like being in a body on earth, right? It's the both and, right? Because like it's daytime here, but on the other side of the planet, it's nighttime at the same time, at the same time, you know? And so it's like I can simultaneously like face suffering and like laugh and have a good time with my partner, right? I can, talk about the heaviness and then sing a song. You know what I mean? Like there's so many ways in which like we need to like that's resiliency, right? Like because I feel like this is something that comes up in the wellness industry sometimes, right? Is like this idea of like a regulated nervous system is always calm. No, a
Yeah.
regulated nervous system can get itself back to where it needs to be after a spike, right? And like I think of my mom, like I used to think, oh wow, she's so unregulated, but like she's like so regulated because she'll get scared and then she'll just laugh and then she's fine, or she'll be like, whoa,
Mm.
haha, and then she's fine. You know what I mean? And it's like my unregulated nervous system would get unsettled by her like modulation and her laughing to discharge or her shaking to discharge. But like that's regulation. Like that's what regulation looks like, right? And so like some of this is giving ourselves permission to do it differently, right? Like if the system says to do it like this, maybe we should not and do it some other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was getting over here too, is like could we look at like the worst of what's out there and we choose the opposite? Um,
Mhm.
like joy is resistance, rest is
Yes.
resistance. And so how can we like buck the system? How can we change the patterns, change the paradigms by choosing what is actually life-giving, what
Mm.
is in service to us? And
Mm.
we can do it more and more without guilt or shame or making ourselves wrong for taking a few minutes to lay down and take a nap. Um, because that we can see, Babs, back to your point earlier, that is evading me a little bit, so maybe you'll help me track this. We can see how the systems were created. We can see like the institutionalized formulaic way that we have been controlled. And so the more we start to notice that, we notice how it lives in our bodies, the fear of speaking up, the fear of stepping outside the mold, whatever, whatever. And we choose little by little to do the opposite, like the thing that is in service to our bodies, the thing that is reclaiming our voice, the thing that is reclaiming community, um, the thing that is letting ourselves be resourced rather than depleted. That feels like that's how we're going to continue to actually shape something new here and let those
Yeah.
old paradigms fall away.
Yep. Totally.
Mm. This
I
feels like
love
a
all of
great
this.
time to do a little like
Yeah.
activation of all
I was
of
gonna
this that
say
we
the
just
same.
talked about.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I agree. And it's like easier said than done. And at the same time, right? Like necessary. You know,
Yeah. And you know
like
what I keep hearing or thinking might be a thing to do right now instead of what we often do, which is, an activation, which are awesome. What if we play that song, People Are Good, Oppression is Bad? I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
can play
There's
it.
something about the energy of that I feel like
Yep.
might be a lovely thing to
Yep. Let me go ahead and just share
because I think it so
audio.
beautifully captures like what we need to do, which is it speaks to reality and truth, and like
Hmm.
talks about trauma, all of the things, but it's got this really lighthearted kind of energy to it. So to me, there's a transmission in it.
I totally agree.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it. I'm gonna drop the link in the YouTube too.
Okay.
And
So
yeah, I
just
would just
take this
invite
in.
you, like, do whatever your body wants to do. Take this as a
Yeah.
moment to like, bleh, let go
Mhm.
and move, bop around, go outside.
Yep. Maybe a little more volume.
When we are
There
little,
we go.
society and grown-ups hurt us, and then they tell us not to feel. Systems of oppression structure the ways we get hurt, and in turn hurt each other. We might get set up to look like enemies, but to get free we need one another. 'Cause people are good, oppression is bad. People are good, oppression is bad. So we can hold each other accountable with compassion and not with blame. People can change when we feel safe, not when we're scared, we're singled out or shamed. With loving attention, we let our guards down and release the old pain that lives inside, and reclaim our minds from the harm and false beliefs that have dominated our lives. 'Cause people are good, oppression is bad. People are good, oppression is bad.
The kazoo is just so good.
The kazoo takes it over the top. Yeah.
People are good, oppression is bad. It's hard to hold the humanity of those who hurt you or ones you love without trauma awareness or systemic analysis. You might just hate them for what they've done, but it won't help to hate or retaliate if we really want these systems to fall. We can find find safe places to vent our grief and rage as we fight for liberation for all. People are good, oppression is bad. 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 People are good, oppression is bad.
A little kazoo riff at the end. So.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Who is that? Who sings that? Who's that?
They are called Arena Branson. Rena
So
Branson.
good.
Yeah, and I added the link to the song in the live
Oh,
stream.
excellent. Thank you.
So that folks have it.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
Yeah.
people are good. Oppression is
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. And just the whole piece about that, you might hate them or retaliate, and it doesn't get us there. So
Well, it
really
makes me
good.
think of something you say, I've heard you say a lot, Babs, of like we all come by our stuff honestly,
Yep.
right? And so like
Yeah.
even those folks who are all out there harming people, like came to that, like, I mean, theoretically, right? I can't speak for all of the
Yeah.
harmers, but like, you know, it's like something happened, right? That made that happen.
Right. They're a product of a lot of things. But I love what you say, Clarissa, like, but still we can take the keys away. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, we need to take the keys from you. You're dangerous, you're scary because of what you're doing with this.
Well, and that's
And
that
not
I
be,
feel like is part of the nuance and the difficulty, especially within the United States, right? It's like it's like it's loving for me to stop you from harming people,
yes,
right? Like it is
absolutely.
loving for me to prevent you from causing more harm to our collective, right? Like that is a
Yes.
loving act. And there's also this like I mean, it's like jumbled in my head right now, but it's like there's also this piece of like again, that piece of can we be like, okay, you've been doing bad things, but I'm not going to cancel you. We're going to try to like restore this relationship. We're going to try to like repair the harm, right? Like we're going to try to find a way back into trust, into your humanity, into not like violence and power over, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I mean, we're not quite there yet. We're getting there. We're getting there.
And little by little, one person at a time, right? Like just whatever acts we can do in that place. I remember Catrice Goddard, who was in Kairos, that we did that amazing transcendent social justice curriculum with. And I remember her just being so focused on people's nobility. And somebody asking her one day, like, how do you deal with people that are super racist? And she was like, they don't really bother me. She said, because I know that I mean, this is my paraphrase. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but what I heard her or took from what she said was that she sees them as someone who's just forgotten their nobility and is seeing them like, may we call everybody up to their nobility, like what we see happening on this planet.
Ooh.
There's a whole lot of people that have forgotten their nobility and their
Ooh.
who the possibility of who they can be as humans. And there's a lot of people that are living amazing humanness on this planet that we don't hear about as much as the other stuff. So, but I'm aware of time. I know we said we wanted to keep it to about 35, 45 minutes. So we're at the 45-minute mark. Do we feel
Yeah,
this is
I'm
an okay
wondering,
place?
let's just do a little like, do you guys mind if I just lead us through like a little quick close?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
That. Okay.
So I'm just going to invite everyone to just like come back into contact with your body, presence your body. Maybe that means putting hands on your body. Maybe that means taking a breath. Maybe that means closing your eyes so that you can feel the internal experience of yourself. But just take a moment to just notice yourself. We've been talking a lot, we've been saying a lot. There's probably a lot going around in your mind. So just inviting your awareness to drop down, ooh, down into your heart. Mm, taking a breath there. Letting that awareness drop down again into your belly. Just taking a breath there. Taking another nice breath into your belly here. And from this place, ooh, just sending back anything that's not yours to carry. Just releasing anything that no longer serves you. Ooh, letting it go, feeling it placed on the earth, sending it back. Ooh. And with your next breath, just inviting everything that is yours, that is still yours to carry, everything that wants to travel with you forward from this moment, breathing that in, calling that back. Feeling as though you can take a step back from this conversation, feeling yourself fully sovereign, full of your own power, sending gratitude to all that you gained. And just taking a moment to blink some light back into your eyes, noticing where you are, becoming present once again to your physical space. I'm just so grateful to both of you for our ability to just do this.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
teachers too. Like we didn't get
Yeah.
here without a lot of these conversations with other people, without reading books by people who have lived this and found new ways, and brought it to others. So I just want to honor that lineage as well, that like we just get to be a part in this chain um, of the new coming into form, of the wisdom coming into the ears and bodies, so that change becomes possible.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, on that note,
Thank you. On that
bye
note,
everyone. If you haven't liked the video, like the video, subscribe to our channel, share with your friends. We're really trying to grow something like bigger than just the three of us. So please chime in, reach out to us.
yeah,
Yeah.
unbecomingkaren@gmail.com.
Yep.
You can email us. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to hear